So hello aspirants, today we shall be discussing question number 5 of GS paper 2 2024 relating to polity. So our question is, analyze the role of local bodies in providing good governance at local level, and this is the first part, and bring out pros and cons merging the rural local bodies with urban local bodies. So basically this question has two parts. Okay, so first of all, in first part we have to analyze the role of local bodies in ensuring good governance. This is the first part of question, and in second part of question we have to discuss the pros and cons if we merge urban local bodies and rural local bodies. Okay, so basically this will be our main part of body. Okay, so now start our main answer. First let's discuss the structure. So see, basically in structure you will see the question is discussing about urban, basically the local bodies, right? So local bodies you can discuss about 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act. Okay, then we will this part we will discuss in the body, and as you know the conclusion always has to be in the positive direction. So we will conclude our answer accordingly. Okay. So now let's start. So what you will write in the introduction? See, in the question, both we are being asked about rural local bodies, urban local bodies. All these things are discussed in the question. So I think you can easily introduce the answer through 73rd and 74th Amendment Act. So Panchayati Raj institutions got Constitution Amendment Act through 73rd. And urban local bodies through 74th Constitutional Amendment Act. So basically these both are constitutional bodies. Okay, so now coming to the body part. So in body part, what is the first part? You have to analyze the role of these local bodies in ensuring good governance. Ensuring good governance. Okay, so first of all you have to discuss their role. Now first role we can discuss is the decentralization of power. See, what is the meaning of decentralization? For example, I have financial powers, I have all the administrative powers, and I am giving these powers to someone else so that he can address the issues at the local level. So this is the decentralization of power. So decentralization can be in the form of financial manner also, and can be in the form of administrative manner also. So financial powers, administrative powers are now allocated to the local bodies so that they can address the local issues. Okay, so for example, if you have any example, you can write, for example, the very famous, very successful policies of government like Swachh Bharat Mission. So in Swachh Bharat Mission, the role of rural and urban local bodies was very important. Then only we can say that this mission was a success, right? Now, second point what we can discuss is the role of local bodies is to increase the public participation. Okay, for example, see, how can we say it increases the public participation? For example, see, Panchayati Raj institutions, right? See, in every village or in every rural area, there will be a Gram Panchayat. Okay, so in Gram Panchayat, the people discuss their local issues. Okay, so the people are able to voice their concern. So in this way, what is happening? The people are more and more participating in the governance of the region. Okay, so we can say it increases public participation. Now, third, what we can discuss, what will be the third point? That the issues which are specific to that particular area can be easily dealt by the local bodies. Because see, the issues which are in the rural area of Bihar are not the same issues which are in the rural area of the states in the southern states of the India. So every rural area, every local area has specific issues, and if there are local bodies for every specific area, they can address those issues. Okay, so what will be those local issues? Those local issues can be related to education, it can be related to infrastructure like roads and all. So these Panchayati Raj institutions can easily address these type of issues, right? Now be discussing our second part. What we have to discuss in second part? We have to discuss the pros and cons. Okay, so first I will be discussing pros. So the question is asking, see, this is urban local body, for example municipalities, and this is rural local body, that is Panchayati Raj institutions. Now the question is asking, if we merge both these bodies, so what will be the advantages and what will be disadvantages? Okay, so let me first discuss the advantages. So see, if we merge both these bodies, no, so there will be integrated development, integrated urban rural development. See, what I mean by this, see, for example, this is urban area, okay, this is rural area, okay. Now gradually the urban area is expanding, okay, because see, the population in urban area is not growing. Many people are migrating to urban areas for job, education, anything. So see, urban area is not rapidly increasing, and a time will come when urban area will encroach upon rural area, okay. But so what is happening? No, urban area is encroaching in rural area. So the needs of rural areas are being neglected. All the needs of people in urban region are focused upon. So what this will ensure? No, it will ensure integrated rural urban development. Okay. So the region in, for example, we can say no, the region in peri-urban areas. In peri-urban areas, no, there is no imposition of law and order, no sanitation, nothing. So when we integrate these two bodies, no, so there will be integrated rural urban development. Now, second advantage what we can discuss is there will be efficient utilization of resources. For example, efficient utilization of resources like both areas can share the infrastructure. They can share the other resources also. Okay, infrastructure or policies or any other kind of innovation, these urban and rural areas can share. Okay, now coming to the regulation of rules and laws. For example, see, once I will discuss once more. See, this is urban area, this is rural area. Okay, so urban areas have their own laws, rural areas have their own laws. But what about this area? So it happens that this area faces bureaucratic hurdles. That urban area will say that our rules will be applicable here, and rural laws will say our rules will be applicable here. Okay, so when there is integration, so there will be no such issue, so no bureaucratic hurdles also. Okay, so I think we have discussed the pros. Now coming to cons. See, if we are merging both these bodies, so basically what would happen? That the needs of rural areas will be neglected. I will give you an example. For example, the basic need of rural area is sanitation. But it may happen that the need of metro in urban area will overpower this need. So the need of rural area might get neglected. Okay, so in a very second point we can say that the rural areas will be neglected financially. Means the financial allocation will not be there for rural area, because see, there will be a single body, okay, which will be given all the finances that it have to manage the urban areas, rural areas both. So it might happen that the financial needs of rural areas might get neglected. Now the third thing is that urban areas and rural areas have different kind of disputes. For example, in urban areas we can say there is no more pollution. More pollution in urban areas, more congestion in urban areas. These are the issue of urban areas. What are the issue of rural areas? There are issue of land disputes in agriculture. There is issue of sanitation. There is issue of education. So the thing is, the issues of both these regions are different. So we can't say definitely that if we combine both the bodies, so needs of both the regions will be addressed. Right. Now, fourth thing we can discuss is that the governance pattern of both the regions vary. Why I am saying this is because in rural areas we have tribal population also. In rural areas we have very backward population also. So the governance pattern of rural area areas will differ, because here we have to preserve the custom of all the indigenous tribal population. But what is happening in urban areas? In urban areas, focus on the implementation of rules and laws. That no rules are made, now people have to follow those rules. But if you make rules, the tribal population don't understand those rules. So how you will govern those regions? So basically I am trying to say that both these regions have different patterns of governance. So we can't say definitely that both these regions will be, the issue of both these regions will be addressed in a definite manner. Okay. So I think we have discussed the cons also. Now let's come to the conclusion. So see, in conclusion, basically you can say that whatever decision is being taken by the government, no, so the decision must be discussed with the policy makers. Must be discussed with the policy makers, and a balanced approach must be followed to ensure the governance of rural areas as well as urban areas. Okay. So I think we have discussed all the parts of the question, that is introduction, body and conclusion. And please focus that no, you have to address each and every part of the question and address the demand of that question. Okay. So yes, I think we are done with this question. So thank you from my side.